All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are more than one mediums to engage with this content. But the best way, although I don't really have anything fun, but man, the articles, it was a great weekend. I was so depressed I didn't get to record yesterday. But that's okay. We're going to get through this. So if you're new, welcome. Go on and subscribe. And if you don't know how, guess what? At 11 minutes and 11 seconds, a little icon's going to pop up in the lower right-hand corner. You just click on that. I guess unless you're on TV, if you're listening on TV, apparently things aren't clickable. But whatever. Let's see. Yeah, and that's free. But I don't know what I'm going to do. So many of you guys are telling me you don't get the notifications. And I don't know if it's, I know you have to click a bell. And then it asks you, do you want all? And you should click all. But even then, people do that. And it doesn't go out. So I don't know what to tell you. But, you could just check. I post most days. But anyway, all right. And let's see. This is Sunday, but I'm going to squeeze in, believe it or not, I'm going to squeeze in the news for the weekend, because there wasn't much. There was a lot, but not much for the RV or rate change, whatever. Don't mess with me about those two letters. I know. I don't care. RIRV, whatever. Just do it. So I can go to the bank, right? Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, so the blog, myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. But that's a lot to remember or to type in. So wherever you are interacting with this content, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. If you click on that, another box could open, or it just magically appears. I don't know. The link will show. It'll either say link to my FX Buddies or just the link itself. HTTPS and all that other stuff. And again, I want to shout out. There was another part of Canada that showed up on RSS.com. Saskatchewan or something like that. So welcome. If you don't know, for those of you who can't understand me, or it's just hard to follow or whatever, or English is your second or third language, on RSS.com, I usually put a link in the little box, right? Or you could go there and look for my FX Buddies. There's a transcript there for free. And it's much better than YouTube's. All right. Okay, so we got that out of the way. All right. Saturday, the big story, at least in my opinion, was this one. And some of you already, this may look familiar. I'm using the same. So I posted this article thinking I would get back to it later to do the video, but I never did. So, is the world convinced? Washington is listening to Baghdad. Ambitious financial reforms seek credible implementation and institutional change. So we like the word implementation. Why do we like that? Because they do things in a 3-phase series process. They approve, they implement, they activate. So now that they told the whole world their plan, they discussed two plans. They discussed the banking reform that's happening right now and their Vision 2050. So they had a bunch of meetings. But we don't know exactly when this person got there, because we saw her all week. This is the Minister of Finance. I call her Miss Sammy. We know she was there all week. And this might be the deputy CBI guy. I've never seen him. Oh, maybe it's this guy. It's probably this guy here. Saleh Mahoud Salman. It's probably him. But this is a Leah Locke, and I was hoping he was there. I was hoping maybe he would hook up with the U.S. Treasury, and he probably did, right? Because we saw that other article that said the Treasury was at the Ritz-Carlton, right? All right, so why is this good? The whole world has been coming, or not the whole world, but let's say at least G20, right? Maybe G50, but let's say at least G20 has been going to visit Iraq for umpteen years, no, for at least 5 years, right? Let's say 5 years, and pledging money, and this is our plan, looking at projected images, computerized images, and all of this, and they still are waiting, right? And this meeting that happened was an annual meeting. It's an annual meeting, but Iraq has not been spotlit like this. That's how you say that, right? You don't say spotlighted. You say spotlit. I don't know. For a while. One time they were, and we thought, oh, this is it. They're going. But no, they went back and nothing happened. But this time it's totally different. A bunch of different laws have been passed. The banking reform, they're digital. What's the other thing? Electronic payment systems are set up. I think maybe in 90% of the country, but the cell phones, the mobile phones, right? The mobile phones are everywhere. Even the sheep herder, goat herder is standing out there, supposed to be watching the goats, and they got their mobile device in their hand, right? But anyway, yeah, so this was really good. So if you can read this, they just were saying they've made qualitative shifts. They're very successful. There's stable monetary policy. Even though the volatility in oil prices, they have a plan for that. They're now on ASYCUDA, and they're teaching other countries how to be on the ASYCUDA system. Now here they say they've gotten away. Excuse me. I don't know how to mute, so you just have to hear me clear my throat, and I hate that. I hate it, but I don't know what's going on with my throat here, but all right. So, well, I was kind of screaming a lot today, so don't tell anybody. It is faith and football day. Anyway, all right. So, the gap between the formal and parallel economies. Now, they might be exaggerating a little bit there, but whatever. That's the goal, right? And come to find out, they're not the only ones with a parallel system like that. So, I'm like, you can't judge them. If you in your country got a parallel market like Iran has one, Libya has one, Egypt has one, then you can't judge them, right? And I'm sure we have one too, we just don't know. So yeah, so here they talk about the digital leap. Digital leap as a shift of citizens' financial behavior using bank cards. Yeah, so it's just great. It's just a great article. And it's really long. So what I did, because I know some people see long articles and just like forget that. But here I put a little bullet point, courtesy of Grok, I think Grok or ChatGPT. I use both of them. Some of them, one I usually like more than the other. So yeah, bottom line, Iraq's reform message in Washington was bold, but global investors are still asking the same question. Can Iraq finally turn reform into reality? And that's what we need. Okay. Now this was another big article over there, I guess for the People. So they put out new instructions from the central bank to all banks regarding customs clearance. So Now, why do I like this? Because it's changes. Because they have more stuff going through customs the right way, right? Well, although they did bust someone, and I'll show you that. Telling them about their harmonized universal customs code number. So they're getting very specific. Oh, look how big that is. I thought I made it smaller. Anyway, so then here's a different version. Here's the people who did this work, Echo Iraq, and we're seeing them more. So I'm not sure who they are, where they originate from. Is it the UK? Is it us? Is it somewhere over there? And eventually I'll get that answer. But they should be there, right? Because it says according to Echo Iraq. So these are going to go into effect November 1st. And it would be nice if something else went to effect November 1st, right? So that was all over everywhere, which I find interesting because the citizens aren't going through customs. Well, I guess they are. They do. They travel, right? They travel a lot more than we do, it seems. All right. So here, the Ministry of Finance has begun preparing the 2026 budget. Again, why do we like this? Because it shows forward movement. And if they're working on 2026, they should be working on 2025, right? So, yeah, we like that. And there's another one. It's not this one, but there's another article. They're considering using $60 per barrel for their budget instead of $70 per barrel. But remember, there's been increases, right? OPEC Plus has made increases in how much they can produce. And then that pipeline is back online. The Turkey, what is it? Kurdistan Ceyhan. That pipeline is back working. So if they lower the price but they produce more, then it's the same, right? Plus, I don't really get too deep into those articles because if they would hurry up and make this change and put the laws that are sitting there waiting, right, and put them in effect, then they could move forward and all the investment funds that are waiting to come in would come in, right? Okay. So here's another from Washington, a new banking and economic reform package for Iraq. Now, this was new. I don't know what was new about it, but you see, they announced a new package of banking and economic reforms on Saturday here at Washington, D.C. So some people think they went over rates. You know, there's nothing in here that says that, but I wouldn't expect them to put that in writing, right? So hopefully it's true. I hope it is true. They announced a new package of banking and economic reforms on Saturday aimed at strengthening the stability of the financial system and attracting investment. That would attract my investment, wouldn't it? If they said, hey, here's your rate. So here they were talking about the ASYCUDA system program. They call it a program. Restructuring of the banks. It all sounds the same to me. So they announced the new instructions to all authorized banks in the country regarding money transfers and custom clearance procedures related to the requirements for the approval of special commercial invoices with the aim of curbing currency smuggling. So another thing I was thinking was maybe, since maybe they're banks that met the qualifications from Oliver Wyman, maybe they're going to be able to do dollar trading, merchant business commerce. And so maybe they had to disseminate that information too. I don't know. But it's definitely, they are saying something new was shared with all of these different countries that were there on Saturday, right? So here's the person that got arrested. Look, he had all these passports straight out of a movie, right? These are ancient coins. These are real ancient coins. Let's see. Now, it says this the foreign currency is counterfeit. For those who can't see, it's dollars. Okay, it's a stack of 50 USD. It looks pretty real to me, and some hundreds, a stack of hundreds plus another little, like maybe this was his personal stack, some tens and a 20. He had 2 cell phones, 4 passports, and some coins. The coins are authentic. So is he what is that? What are the things? Artifact smuggler? I don't know, but anyway. And then here they had an armed robbery in broad daylight. Employee salaries stolen. So, because they still carry cash. So, they were on surveillance camera. So, they were able to arrest the person. And see, this will stop once they realize, which I don't understand why they don't understand. They're on camera everywhere. We think we have a lot of cameras. Oh no, they have way more cameras than we do, and they're going to get more. Everything they do, every little alley, every little nook and cranny of everything. Oil fields. I don't know about personal property, and they show them the humans. There's humans there monitoring the camera, the monitors, right? So eventually they'll figure out, now they still can't catch these people pulling off these assassinations. That's not funny. I'm not laughing because but you know, it's, yeah, anyway. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Oh, they had this thing for youth. The youths. Ramadan participates. So it was the Ramadan Bank, although this is the Q card symbol. But it was really big. It was real elaborate. They put a lot of money into it. A lot of show. It looked like an award show. Sadani gave a speech. So they're really, really trying to get this, empowering the youth and encouraging the labor market will guarantee the path of economic reform and diversification of national revenue sources. All right, let's see. Revealing the features. Oh yeah, so here's more about the 26 budget. This is Mohammed Saleh speaking in 2 paths they could take. $70 or $60. All right. And now this is a good article. I'm not going to go over it because it's really long. But, oh, you know what? And I think it kind of goes along with Washington's sanctions expose Iraq's shadow economy. So, yeah. But it's, yeah. So, it does go along with the other ones. Okay, so we'll skip that. See how long it is, but some people will read that. Some people are interested, like myself, in that. Here, that's taking too long. I think this is that's the last one. So there's my one commercial. If you want to support my FX buddies, these are the ways to do it. Oh, and shout out to my #1 sponsor, TE. Thank you. All right, so, buy me a coffee. This is actually a live link. I'm not going to hit it though, because this blog is live. See, yeah. You hit that and it takes you there to buy me a coffee. Cash App. Just making sure it works. And yeah. So big or small, I appreciate it all. Thank you in advance. So let's move on. Look, I put this budget there again, so I'll delete that. There was lots about the private banks. Private banks in Kurdistan and Iraq face threats and difficult conditions. So, this was the results. These are some of the results from the Oliver Wyman not interview, the word's not coming, audit, from the audit. So I'm thinking because they're leaking these little bitty here and there bits of information, they're probably not going to make the whole report viewable for everyone. So let's see. Yeah. So if you're one of those people that like all the details and you really want to see everything, this is a very thorough, and this is out of Kurdistan. This article is out of the Kurdish news, and it talks about everything from credit cards to confidence in the Iraqi banking sector for 2026 to 2028. And we've heard that before, remember? Here they're talking about that one bank that is capitalizing with dirhams. See? So it's pretty comprehensive, but I don't think it's everything, right? And then here is Salami. This person, private banks violate the central bank's instructions and waste millions of dinars daily. So there's more information, right? All right, now an official statement. This was big news today over there. They talked about debt, and more debt. But this is the official statement from the CBI. So this is the one, and isn't that a neat picture? Well, it's kind of dark and gloomy, right? But they have money back there. You can barely see it. I'm not sure what that says. But official statement on internal and external debts. And it's about the budget. They talk about the tripartite budget. Yeah. So I'm not really worried about that. And so, of course, Mohammed Saleh comes out and says, Iraq is experiencing its most stable period thanks to strong foreign reserves. And look, there's a blurry picture in interpreting the issue of debt and the how they're supposed to repay. And then people neglect to point out some of their debt has been written off. See right here, which wrote off 80% or more of those debts. So what I think all these articles about the debt is they're trying to make Sudani look bad, right? Some of them came from Parliament. Some of them came from economic experts. So I think that's what it is. So they put another here, this is interesting. So November 5th, the polling stations are going to be just like they do here, schools. Well, we do schools and churches here in California. I doubt they do mosques, but I know they do schools. So it says starting November 5th, coinciding with the handover of schools designated, I have to sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze. As polling stations. So it looks like they're going to be on time. The elections are November 11th. All right, but yeah. So this is funny. Someone wrote, this is the worst the worst parliament ever. And they're not just saying, they point out how many times they were in session, who was there, what laws. They only passed 69 laws, and these are the ones they should have done. And these were the ones that are pertinent to the citizens, right? And the general budget law is there. Yeah, so I'm like, good for them. Well, it's kind of bad because people are voting for parliament, right? But it's also good because it puts in their head who was a good parliament member and who wasn't, right? So, yeah. Okay, this is good too. Between reform and dictate, the central bank leads banks toward a financial transformation with an American character. In fact, if I had done, say I posted yesterday and I posted today, this would have been the star article for the blog. Just because it really shows, this is more. See, this follows the release of a report by the American firm Oliver Wyman. So it shows that we're going to be in control over their banks at least till 2035. So, but who are we to be trusted, right? Right? I mean, there's other countries that see us as corrupt, and our banks get caught in money laundering all the time, right? You just don't hear about it. They just get caught, they pay a fine, they keep on going about their business. But see, the money they make off of it is so lucrative. They pay the little fine and they keep going. No one goes to jail, right? So, yeah. If I was them, I'd be like, but who are y'all? Y'all just as dirty? Well, we're probably not just as dirty, but we're not so squeaky clean either. But with all the auditing that's taking place, I hope that going forward they'll be set. And then who knows what are banks even going to be necessary? Oh, the IMF. I know that sounds like a outlandish statement, but if you like to watch boring things, but they're important, go on YouTube and pull up the IMF channel. They had a series of talks, I think it was over the weekend, but there's one called The Future of Finance, Digital Something or Another. And Kristalina, I forget her last name, but they talk about what, going digital, what they want to do. And a lot of people are asking, are banks even going to be necessary? I mean, I think maybe only you'll need banks for loans, maybe business loans. And, of course, it's going to take, like me, I'm going to hold out as long as I can, right? But most people are just jumping on the digital bank, electronic stuff right away. They talked about Bitcoin. They talked about stable coins, and I think she said there's 8 countries right now that are experimenting with stable coins. So for those of you listening that don't understand digital and crypto, pay attention, because now, who was it? I think JP Morgan Private Banking last week opened up any account. It used to be for the private banking people, the quote unquote sophisticated investors. But nope, now they can offer crypto investing to anyone, any account type, it says. So when you come in there with this money, if you start hearing about digital wallet, digital this, if you don't understand it, say no. Because you can lose everything in minutes, right? Just look at Bitcoin. A week ago, it was 125,000 per coin. What is it now? And I know I just went off on a tangent. I apologize. But we went through too much to get this, to just turn around and lose it. So right now, Bitcoin is at 110,000. Okay? Alright, so look where we are. We're at 30 minutes, okay? So yeah, here they even talk about increased network of branches and ATMs. Great article. It's a great article. It talks about, they're starting with Rafadan and Rashid. The first phase of the project began, so that means it's over, right? It began with them, the state banks. And it'll go to the others. But who is over? We still got a whole floor of the CBI bank, right? The U.S. Treasury still has an entire floor. Oh, and see, they seek to have a balance of power between, oh, that's Tehran. Washington and Tehran, okay. Yeah, so that's good. Okay, so give me 3 minutes, okay? 3 minutes. So this was urgent breaking news, and I still don't understand why, but our president appointed this person as special envoy to the Republic of Iraq, and guess why he's there? Oh yeah, he's gonna help advance the interests of the American people. So this guy has an interesting history. He played a key role in engaging Muslim American voters and helping secure a record turnout. And who did they turn out for? Yup. So now he's going to be over there. I totally expect us to be interfering with their elections. And we will make sure the person that we want gets in office, okay? So, now this is good too. With the rise of Chinese yuan and local currency settlements, can Iraq dispense with the dollar? Which supposedly they did already, right? But they remind them that their money goes to the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. Yeah, so they talk about that. And they talk about the SIPS system. If you don't know what that is, this would be an opportunity for you to look that up. So, yeah, they have 52.9% of the cross-border transactions were settled in yuan. So, yeah, this is good. I mean, we want them off the dollar, right? So, you could read that. Then I put that in red. Ultimately, economic analysis shows that completely eliminating the dollar in Iraq is not possible in the short or medium term, but it remains a long-term strategic goal in light of global changes. And I believe as long as they sell oil in dollars, which we still need Iraq to sell their oil in dollars. They can't totally get away from it. Also, this is Joshua Harris. He's the charge d'affaires. He met with Sudani, and it says details of the meeting, but who knows what they really talked about. You can sum it up in strategic partnership based on mutual respect, shared interests, and constructive dialogue, right? And here, the government has succeeded. Okay, that's good, but I don't want to talk about that because we're running out of time. Sudani gave a speech. Here again, they're guaranteeing or reminding them how much gold they have. Here, Sudani gave a speech. This was not that youth thing. This was something else to support private sector and create an attractive investment environment. And of course, he talked about everything good they did, what they're doing. This seemed to really focus on recent investments by Qatar. Then also it went into a whole health thing. So they talked about the hospitals they've helped build, and they initiated some kind of health something or another. Sudani laid a foundational cornerstone. It's symbolic, right? For another hotel they're building. But see here again, Qatar Investment Holding Company. We have a wealth of investment opportunities in various sectors, and they will be available to businessmen, investors, and companies. Then they talked about the Development Road Project. I think they may have talked about that Port of Fod thing too. But they have witnessed an unprecedented leap over the past 2 years. Yes, they have. So, very good. Another good weekend for Iraq, article-wise. And then this is the closeout. New tools for fiscal policy in Iraq. And this is a foundation, another foundation that seems to do studies and reports. And the current phase requires the development of new financial policy tools capable of addressing the challenges facing this sector in Iraq without placing additional burdens on the budget. Real financial leverage is needed. In such circumstances, it is impossible to rely on patchwork solutions, such as devaluing the exchange rate or repricing assets and transferring them from one owner to another. So I guess that's what Iraq's been doing. And they're like, no, you need a real, like, come on, let's grow up, get with the program, do some real business, right? Financial leverage is not additional spending, but rather the smart movement of assets and liquidity towards productive and operational objectives. And then it goes on to explain that. So, good. This was the previous article. Yeah, this is, previous video. All right, so that's it. Thank you for your time. I look forward to this week because what's going to happen, that whole delegation that was in Washington, they're coming back. Are they going to have good things to share? Are they going to meet with Sadani? Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll be here. Will you? All right, so thank you. Oh, I didn't even ask you to hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, why don't you? All right, thanks again for all your comments and your time. And yeah, let's see what this week brings. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss all your meals and pay all your bills. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until tomorrow.